And basically, what it comes down to is the UV zoning is designated for pedestrian use, right? Not automobile uses. A gas station, fuel pumps, albeit to the rear, would constitute an automobile-centric use. It's not to say that they shouldn't have it. It's just something that the council needs to take into consideration. So there's two things that I would possibly recommend. One is, or maybe three. The first is not to rezone it with a general C2. I think that would open up too many uses that would be incompatible with the zoning district. If you did choose to, and we're okay with fuel pumps in the rear, and a C2C, so that the C2 with proffered conditions would be, you can approve that. But my concern is really the site plan. There's a lot of details to be worked out with the site plan, given setbacks, given orientation, elevations, etc., which could be worked out with Planning Commission. I would want them to see that. What they saw last week was not acceptable. Planning Commission did state that they like this investment. They like the idea of a good, solid investment happening in this area. They were not necessarily comfortable with the rezoning at this time. So they actually denied the rezoning with some conditions as well, stating that they would like to see the applicant work, I think it was potentially with the UV zoning and go for variances and a conditional use permit. So first, again, the question is, if you want to see fuel pumps, then C2C would be allowable. You may consider tabling it to allow the Planning Commission to further review a site plan, and staff as well to have some time to really look at whether or not this could be compatible, given that it's supposed to be pedestrian. So with that, I'll end.
Okay.
And I'll ask
What I need to do is take public comment, and you will be available when council has questions, ma'am. Thanks. Public comments germane to this public hearing. I start again on my left. For or against? For.
Good evening, Council. Mr. Rest, Mayor Pro Tem.
Laura Murphy, 201 Colorado. I'm normally opposed to spot zoning, but being a former member of council and the zoning that we're proposing to put this in was pretty much slated for high-use development. I think it's a good use. Recognize that FEMA law was passed. If it's in a flood zone, that they have to meet the flood-proof building requirements. As long as they could maybe get an entrance from Loop Road, I think it'd be fabulous. I think it'd be a great amenity to the people and the density that we hope are coming to that area. So I'm not opposed to this, but I do want all the other things to be followed. Of course, Moe's, or Willie's and Moe's is kind of a competition, but that's okay too. But the gas station, I think, would be a good amenity for the people that live in that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Anyone else on my left?
Yeah, I pretty much would like to reiterate what Laura said. There's another gas station right very close and adjacent to the area.
Okay, name and address.
Microphone.
Can you say microphone?
Microphone.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
You should know how to do this by now.
I don't know how to pick up the mic every time. I would just like to reiterate what Laura had said, because there are the gas stations in the immediate area,
Larry Martin.
very close by. I think would be an asset to the community, so I would agree with that.
Thank you. Gentleman here.
My name's Tom Freeman. I'm one of the co-owners of the property. I just wanted to give you a little background on our involvement with Hateville. Our family's been landowners in Hateville since the early 1900s. My mother was born right across from Owens, Illinois plant, with 3-4 bedroom shack there. And we've had Freemans or Bakers owning property, living here since then. We're going to be the last of the Mohicans when this takes place, or this leaves. There's one concern that was mentioned about, that was just brought up about the access through to the loop road. We've actually been in communication with the property owner behind our property. And I don't, my 62-year-old brain doesn't always remember the names, but the freight forwarder company that has the building behind us. And we had actually tried to work with her to see if there would be an interest in combining some of the property to make that property more usable and valuable for the zoning that's currently there. The problem we've got, and she's strictly opposed to it, she really needs that property. She's expecting to have more employees there, and she needs that parking. So she's really not interested in doing this. That leaves us a little bit of a 1.3 acre lot there on that corner, surrounded by big buildings and on one side and a barbecue place on the other side. Really limits the opportunity to do some of the stuff that typically would be done with zoning. So there's limited use there from the standpoint of what can be developed there. So that's something I'd like to ask you to consider.
Thank you. Anyone else? George?
George Roman, 2108 Woodland Drive. I don't know if the planning person mentioned this, and I didn't hear it, but I was wondering, when we're doing these things, are we looking at the infrastructure? Will our sewer and water lines handle it? I think we need to start looking at that, because I don't hear that often from the planning person. That issue of what is, can we sort of blow it, is what I'm saying.
Thank you. Anyone else? Finally on my left. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Nancy Freeman Baldwin. I'm one of them. So our business has been there for 48 years now. We've certainly been a part of the Hateful development. My dad was the chair of the development authority that brought in, at that time was First Atlanta, which is now Wachovia's Check Distribution Center in West Fargo. But some comment was made about the flood zone. So I do know that right now that it is zoned in a flood zone. But before the last flood zone rezoning or redrawing, it was just a slight piece of property on the green belt that was considered in the flood zone. And we have contacted the state regarding that, and according to them, it's just a matter of getting a civil engineer to come out and redraw that. They did admit to the fact that there was a mistake, so wanted to bring that to your attention. Also, the fact that you've got gas stations in the back, and not looking for auto-centric purposes. I go back to thinking about how Hateful was a transportation hub for the South. And right now, I know there is some debate about this, but there's some question about the type of gas stations that we currently have. I know that there was purse snatchings at the one closest to us, and so this would be an opportunity for quality development that I feel would benefit not only the citizens, but the city.
Thank you. Anyone else on my left? On my right? Comments regarding this item?
I'm John Azar. I represent the property owners, and I just want to say a few things. One, the comprehensive land use plan. Every city and every municipality has one. If we were living in a perfect.
Can't hear you.
Keep the mic to your mouth.
We don't live in a perfect world.
Put
To your
the mic
mouth.
up to your mouth.
Okay. Sometimes you have to detour from what you plan. You make a road trip, you might run into an obstacle where you gotta make a right turn where you expect. Here, I like the comprehensive land plan, but we're right across the street from what used to be the Flying Pig. We're right across the street from the old liquor store. We're right across the street from the old sandwich shop. In all my years, I've been out here since 1970. I'm the oldest real estate company in South Apalachicola. This is the best transition I have ever seen going from one area to another area. I've never seen a convenient food store concept as elaborate as this. So Hateville should be proud, should be jumping up and down that they have the opportunity to let this come here.
Thank you. Anyone else on my right? Do I have a hand? Okay.
Allison Salvey, 3284 North Whitney. So I drive through that intersection every morning going to work and every afternoon going home, and it's a mess. And if you think about what goes on, if you think about all the cars that are in and out of the Otter in the morning with as many pumps as they have, if there's only 4 pumps at this gas station, how much traffic is going to be going in and out of there in the morning while people are trying to get over Sloop Road to get to work or wherever they're going. I think you need to consider that. Also think you should consider the fact that they're talking about building a Moe's across from a very popular Willie's. They're kind of competing for the same resources. So we have a lot of chips and salsa places in Hateville, so just want to think about that.
Thank you. Anyone else on my right? This time, open to council to either make comments or ask questions of our zoning staff.
Well, for me, I would like to see us adhere to the UV zoning as much as possible. With that said, for me, I think it's appropriate to ask for tabling this until Lynn, Dr. Patterson, and her staff are able to review the most final rendition of the site plan.
Because of the changes.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, because the recommendation was based on whatever information y'all had Tuesday. I don't think it would be fair to come to a decision when they haven't had time to fully evaluate those changes.
So is that a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we table this until Dr. Patterson and her staff are able to review the most recent plans that were submitted to her today.
Have a motion on the floor, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second to table this item. Those of you in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. And the motion carries 2-0. Thank you. At this time, I would recognize Councilman Horsley. I believe you wanted to make a change to the consent agenda.
Yes, I'd like to motion to separate out the items on the consent agenda as follows. Strike the word consent next to consent agenda and just have it listed as 6 agenda. 6.1 stays the same, it's just voted on separately. 6.2 stays the same, it's just voted on separately. In between 6.2 and the following, I would like to insert 6.3, and I'm going to get to renaming the others later, so just bear with me. 6.3, I would like to introduce discussion regarding the request for proposals for legal professional services, or hereby referred to as the city attorney RFP. I would like to break out the organizational appointments into separate components. Thus, 6.4 would be listed as city attorney, 6.5 would be listed as city clerk, 6.6 would be listed as solicitor, 6.7 would be listed as public defender, 6.8 would be listed as city's legal organ, and 6.9 would be listed as official publication. The remaining part of the agenda would remain the same. So essentially,
You're requesting separate votes for each appointment.
separate votes for each appointment, the introduction of a separate discussion regarding the request for proposals for legal professional services, city attorney RFP, in between what I proposed is 6-4 organizational appointment, city attorney, and 6-2 the contract for the theater design.
Okay, I think I have it. Motion on the floor. I hear a second.
Second.
Motion is second to make those amendments to the consent agenda, which would essentially take all the items out of consent agenda and make those separate agenda items. Those in favor of the motion, please indicate by raising your right hand. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, having done that, we will look at item 6.1. Consideration and action to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Teaching Museum South to allow for emergency evacuation of school facilities to the Hoyt Smith Center. This agreement will allow for the Teaching Museum South to evacuate its facility and relocate to the Hoyt Smith Center in case of emergency. I believe we have some similar agreements in place with other educational facilities in the city. So that item stands on its own. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Motion to approve.
To approve, second.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. The item 6.2, separate agenda item, consideration and action to approve theater design contract in the amount of $284,252 and approve a total project budget amount not to exceed $1.29 million. Lusk & Company was selected as design build firm for the Hapeville Theater project at 597 North Central Avenue. Upon approval of this contract, Lusk & Company will begin the design process and arrive at a final construction price that will be brought back to council for approval. Lusk & Company provided 2 exterior concepts in their bid documents, and feedback on which concept is preferred will help guide the design process. The final design concept will be brought back to council for approval within 2 months of starting the design process. Motion.
Discussion.
Motion first.
All right.
Or you go ahead if you have some other questions.
Yeah, we might be amending. As a primary fund source, we're essentially waiting right now on the General Assembly to change the 7% hotel motel tax to 8%. Even specifically called out in the Senate bill right now is a separate section that talks about theatrical uses, although that's already covered in OCGA. It was just sort of overkill in the bill. With that being said, we issued the RFP sort of in the auspices of design build as one thing. I don't want to hold up the design thereof, but the build is the large dollar amount in this case. Since the RFP was conducted as such, that is it being design build, would it be, my brain's sort of thinking one of 2 things. Table this until both the General Assembly and the governing authority, Mayor and Council of Hapeville, pass an ordinance increasing the hotel motel tax to 8% so that we have the funds thereof. Or the separate thing would be to sort of split this into 2 things. One, where we commence with the design and the cost that's associated with that, and then delay the build until both the General Assembly and Mayor and Council have passed the 8%. I'm more towards the second one that I just introduced, but my question is sort of surrounding the, I guess the ethics of, we presented the RFP as a design build, and if we make a motion now to split it into design and build, still with the same vendor, is there any sort of set precedence for that? So,
I guess it would depend on the time frame that we would be expecting council to deal with the build part of the contract. Can you give us a little better, I see 2 months after the design process begins. I guess we need to know when that, of course, obviously it's pending action tonight.
my thing is, as well as sort of assuming the General Assembly passes it, the far out least common denominator is the governor doesn't have to sign anything that passes General Assembly until June 30th, so, or not sign it, so. I guess that's my time schedule is from the extreme.
The idea is that more funds would be freed up and earmarked for this project based on that. Any comments to that regard, Tim?
Well, two comments, and I might let Lee talk basically to how the contract and the RFP went. The $284,000, that's already essentially cash that we have already received. So that's money that we already have in our coffers, from the insurance settlements. Secondly, and kind of more overall, we don't have to go to the 8%. We can even with we just need to have our categorization change in order to have the funding. And I'm anticipating that that the state will make a option change. So just as general, we won't have to go to the 8% to be able to we can even stay at 7% to be able to afford the project.
Okay, again, unless there's other questions prior to entertaining a motion, ready to accept the motion regarding the salary.
I would motion to table until date certain, the General Assembly and Mayor and Council pass a increase in the hotel motel fund to 8%. And then we revisit this as a agenda item immediately afterwards of whenever that date might be.
So you don't even want to move forward with the design process? Is that what I'm hearing tonight? If there's a motion to table, nothing's going forward.
I withdraw my motion.
I just want to clarify, we can adjust our own designations for the 7%, correct?
That's correct. Basically, as long as we get the approval to change our category, then we can maintain 7%. We can go to the 8%, but in either instance, we'll have some sufficient funding.
So whether it passes through the General Assembly or not,
Right.
we get used.
Right.
We're covered for the project.
Right.
I think that's what it's saying.
Because my understanding from the presentation, someone specifically asked that question, there wouldn't be an issue changing the designation.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement.
What's your pleasure? We move forward tonight with design?
So I motion that we approve to move forward with the design.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the motion as it stands, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go slow. The organizational appointments motion has been made to break these apart one by one. And some comments were made about the city attorney and some discussion there. So let's go ahead and move into that.
So, but first I'm inserting the RFP for legal professional services prior to the organizational appointments discussion.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. My take on it, any contract for any service or good needs to be revisited in a timely manner. As such, proposing a schedule where the city of Hapeville issues a request for proposals for legal professional services on May 1st, 2018, with the end of the RFP concluding, excuse me, with the RFP concluding on May 31st, 2018. Not sure what's going on over there. The evaluation period would then be conducted between June 1st, 2018 through June 14th, 2018. Notice of intent to award on June 15th and a notice of award on June 30th.
Okay. That in form of a motion, council?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion to issue RFPs. Give me that date one more time, sorry.
No problem. It's motion for RFP for legal professional services, hereby referred to as the city attorney RFP, to be issued on May 1st, 2018, to conclude on May 31st, 2018, to be evaluated between June 1st, 2018 and June 14th, 2018. Notice of intent to award published in the legal organ on June 15th, 2018, or whatever date the publication is surrounding that time period. Notice of award on June 30th, 2018. All that being said, and I'll speak to this further in the organizational appointments, I think we need to sort of right-size our organizational appointments so that they line up with the fiscal year. If we're doing organizational appointments based on a calendar year or based on whatever day it falls on, we're essentially encumbering funds into a new fiscal year. And I think if we go ahead and start setting the trend now for future years, future councils, we can bring all the appointments to a fiscal year yearly rotation instead of a calendar year yearly rotation. So the RFP for legal professional services in this case would end and be awarded to allow for the city attorney to start the day thereafterwards, beginning of the new fiscal year.
Okay, we have a motion to let RFP for city attorney May 1, 2018, and the other dates to follow that process. All right, second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other comments or questions regarding that? Yeah. All those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries 3-0. So at this time, do you want to then consider the city attorney appointment tonight?
Yes.
Motion.
Motion to approve city attorney.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve current city attorney. Those in favor of the motion, please indicate by raising your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion fails. Motion to approve city clerk.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Motion to appoint solicitor.
Had a little bit of a discussion regarding this with Tim before the meeting. You stated that they had found the contract for solicitor but not public defender, or public defender not solicitor?
Actually, did not find this for either one of those.
Either one of those. Is there a little bit more searching time?
I can take that.
All right, a motion to table until date certain following meeting.
Both those items?
Since we're considering them as separate, yes, but
You want to take them one at a time?
yes.
Okay. Motion to table appointment of solicitor. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Those in favor of tabling appointment for solicitor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries 3-0. Public defender item.
Motion to table till date certain next meeting.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and second to table appointment of public defender. Those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries 3-0. City's legal organ.
Got a question. Is this currently considered the Fulton Daily Report or the South Fulton Neighbor?
I believe it's both. Both.
We got organs. Gotcha. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve appointment of city's legal organ. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Those in favor of the motion, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries 3-0. Down to official publication.
Motion to approve.
Art.
Motion to approve.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Motion and second to approve official publication. Those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries 3-0. Okay, at this time, we move into old business. Item 7.1, authorizing resolution, Hate Bill 2017 municipal bond, in parenthesis, True Hotel, Hateville Development Authority, True Hotel Project, Series 2018. Have a discussion or motion on that tonight.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Mike?
Item 7.1 is the next item on the agenda, authorizing resolution, Hateville 2017 municipal bond, True Hotel, Hateville Development Authority, True Hotel Project Series 2018. It's this resolution that was tabled at last meeting. Back before you tonight.
Actually, I move that we table this item until we get a independent appraisal.
Second.
Motion and second to table. Those in favor of the motion, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries 3-0. The staff ready to move ahead with the directive?
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Okay, into new business, 8.1, consideration action on a request for Paint the Town. We have dates, other information. I think I'll refrain from reading everything. And I know we have some members of that group here tonight. Is there anyone that wishes to make a relatively quick comment?
Whatsoever does he mean?
You want me to come up there?
It's necessary, yes.
Yes, it's necessary.
Heard the operative word.
Good evening, Linda Murray, 33